Big goals. They write them down, they imagine what life will be like when they reach them. But then real life shows up. Stress hits, work piles up, motivation disappears, and the goal just sits there untouched. Because it was never about the goal, it was always about the system behind it. You don't need to feel strong every day. You need to build something that works even when you're weak. That's the difference between wishing for something and building a life that delivers results no matter what. See, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. So if your habits break every time you have a bad day, then you've got a life that's built on sand. But if your habits stay solid, even when your mind is tired, when your heart is heavy, when your patience is thin, then you've got something powerful, something that lasts. The first step is understanding that you won't always feel like it, and that's okay. You're human. Some days will feel heavy. Some mornings the alarm clock will ring and you won't want to move. Your body will beg for more sleep. Your brain will tell you to skip the hard stuff. That's normal. But that's also why you need a system. A system takes thinking out of it. It removes the debate. When you have a system, you don't ask yourself, do I feel like doing it today? You already know the answer doesn't matter. It's on the schedule. It's part of your day, like brushing your teeth. It's not up for negotiation. Now here's the real truth most people won't tell you. Your system doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. It needs to be something you can actually follow, even on a rough day. That's why so many people fail. They try to create these big, perfect routines that only work when everything in life is calm. But life isn't always calm. So instead, build something that holds up even in the chaos. Start small, really small. If you want to read more, don't tell yourself you'll read 50 pages a day. Set up a system that says, every night before I sleep, I'll read 2 pages, no matter what. Why 2? Because 2 is possible even on the hard days. And here's the beauty. You'll often do more. But the system wasn't built for the best days. It was built for the worst ones. The same goes for working out. Don't say, I'll go to the gym for 2 hours every day. That's a goal, not a system. A system sounds like this. At 7 a.m. every weekday, I walk into the gym and move my body for 20 minutes. It's short, it's doable, and it's repeatable. You can scale it up when you're on fire, but on the hard days, it still happens. That's power. Systems win because they're built into your life. They don't wait for inspiration. They rely on rhythm, not hype. They use structure, not hype. If you're tired of starting over, you need a system. A way of living that's not based on how you feel, but on what you've decided. Decide once, execute daily. That's how strong people stay strong. You also need to know your weak points. Where do you break down? What triggers your laziness? When do you usually give up? Study those patterns. Don't ignore them. Don't hide from them. Look at them honestly, because your system must include protection from your worst habits. For example, if you always get distracted in the afternoon and start scrolling on your phone, your system has to include a block for that. Maybe at 2 p.m. every day, your phone goes in another room for 1 hour. That's a system. And on the days when your mind wants to wander, your system holds the line. And the biggest piece of this is understanding that emotions are not permanent. They come and go. Your job is not to feel perfect. Your job is to keep showing up, even when you don't. That's where growth lives. That's where strength is built. Not on the easy days, on the hard ones. You've got to train your mind to follow your system, not the other way around. Most people let their feelings run the show. I'm tired, I'll skip today. I'm not in the mood, I'll start tomorrow. And they repeat that pattern for years, until one day they realize nothing has changed. Time passed, life moved, but they stayed in the same place. because they waited for feelings that never came consistently. Now let's talk about the deeper side of this. You see, when you follow a system, even on your worst days, you build something inside you. You build trust with yourself. That's not small. That changes everything. Because most people break promises to themselves over and over. They say they'll start and they don't. They say they'll stay committed and they quit. And each time they do, they lose a little more belief in themselves. But when you follow through, especially when you don't feel like it, you rebuild that trust. You start to believe again. You become the kind of person who does what they said they'd do. That's real confidence. That's self-respect. And no one can give that to you but you. So make your system simple. Make it solid. Make it so clear that even on a tired day, even on a rough morning, you can still do it. And understand this, discipline is not about being hard on yourself. It's about being kind to your future. A good system protects you from regret. It gives you direction when you're lost. It gives you motion when you're stuck. It gives you proof that you're not done yet, that you still have fight in you. Your habits must not depend on the weather, the news, your friends, your emotions, or your schedule. They must stand on their own. That's what separates people who grow from people who repeat. People often ask, how do I stay motivated? But that's the wrong question. You don't stay motivated, you stay consistent, because consistency builds momentum, and momentum builds motivation. You don't need 1,000 new habits. You need a few strong ones that stick. You don't need to change everything overnight. You need to change one thing and not break it when life gets messy. Think about your own life right now. What do you do daily that moves you forward? And what do you keep skipping every time things get tough? Your answer is the start of your new system. Write it down, keep it simple. Make it something you can do when you're tired, bored, frustrated, or stressed, because that's the real test. Anyone can do it when it's easy. Few can do it when it's hard. But those few, they win, they grow, they change. They build lives that don't collapse under pressure. If you want lasting change, stop building around how you feel and start building around what you repeat. So stop chasing the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start building systems that carry you forward on the good days, the hard days, and every day in between. Your life will not change from what you plan to do. It will change from what you do again and again and again. Even on the days when nothing in you feels ready. That's how you lock in habits that work, even on bad days. And once you've got that, you don't need motivation. You've got something stronger. You've got proof that you're serious. And that changes everything. Number 2, make boring tasks part of your normal routine. Most people chase excitement. They want every task to feel fun, every routine to feel fresh, every moment to feel motivating. But life doesn't work that way, and success never has. The truth is, most of what makes life better is not exciting. It's not flashy, it's not fun, it's repetitive, it's consistent, it's boring. And that's exactly why so few people stick with it. The people who make real progress, the people who change, the people who grow, they don't rely on excitement. They learn to show up when it's boring. They learn to keep going when it's not fun. They don't wait for motivation. They build routines where even the most boring tasks become part of their day, like brushing their teeth or tying their shoes. They stop thinking of those tasks as optional. They make them automatic. If you only do the work when it's exciting, you'll never build anything that lasts, because the things that move your life forward, working out, eating right, saving money, reading, planning your day, reviewing your habits, these things aren't entertaining. They're necessary. And they're easy to skip if you treat them like extra credit. But when you make them a normal part of your day, they lose their resistance. You stop arguing with yourself about them. You stop trying to find the energy. You just do it because that's what you do. Think about the boring tasks in your life that you already do without thinking. Maybe it's making your bed, maybe it's brushing your teeth, maybe it's packing your bag for work. You don't get excited to do those things, but you do them because they're part of your rhythm. You've done them so many times that they no longer need a decision. They run on autopilot. That's how all powerful habits should feel. Boring, normal, part of your identity. When you make boring tasks part of your routine, you take back control. You stop reacting. You stop depending on external motivation. You take ownership of your day. You say, this matters to me, and it's going to get done no matter how I feel about it. That builds character. That builds results. That's how you grow. You see, we live in a world where everyone's chasing new hacks, new systems, new routines. But new doesn't build consistency. Familiar does. Repetition does. And the boring stuff, that's where repetition lives. That's where the real changes start. A lot of people say they want discipline, but they confuse discipline with intensity. Intensity is pushing hard for 1 or 2 days. Discipline is doing the same boring action for weeks, months, and years, even when nobody sees it, even when nobody praises it, even when there's no visible reward in the moment. That's what separates the person who talks from the person who transforms. If you want a better body, it won't come from one intense workout. It'll come from showing up to do the same movements again and again, even when your mind is bored and your body is tired. If you want financial freedom, it won't come from a single good month. It'll come from budgeting, tracking, saving, and saying no to impulse buys, day after day, month after month. These are not exciting tasks. They don't give instant pleasure, but they give long-term peace, and that peace is earned through repetition. The reason most people fail to create change is because they quit during the boring part. They start strong, they feel excited, they see a little progress, then things slow down. Results don't come as fast. The routine starts to feel heavy, and they begin to say things like, this isn't working, or I'll start something new. That's where most goals die, not in failure, but in boredom. But here's the truth. If you can learn to make boring tasks part of your routine, you eliminate the biggest threat to your progress. You stop quitting. You stop pausing. You stop restarting. You just keep going. And when you keep going, progress stacks up quietly, slowly, but surely. It's not about forcing yourself to love the boring parts. It's about learning to respect them, to understand their purpose, to value their role. When you see how much these simple, repetitive actions matter, you stop seeing them as a waste of time. You start to see them as the foundation of everything you want. There's also something powerful about doing what others won't. Most people can't handle boredom. They chase pleasure. They want change without repetition. They want growth without routine. But when you're the one who shows up every day, doing the boring task over and over without applause, you separate yourself, quietly, strongly, permanently. You don't need to enjoy the boring tasks. You need to keep doing them. And the more you repeat them, the more they become part of you. They stop feeling like a chore. They become normal. They become easy. And that's the goal, not to love every task, but to make the hard ones feel automatic. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. The boring tasks you avoid are often the exact things that would change your life if you just stuck with them. Writing that journal, logging that workout, drinking that water, practicing that skill, planning your next day, these are the quiet moves that build real results. People talk about systems, but systems don't work without boring tasks. A system is only as strong as its consistency, and consistency is built in the repetition of small actions.